Hey guys, welcome back. Before I made the video, which was about two kinds of pinyin system of Chinese language. In that video, there was a special noun which was mentioned. So today, let's talk about this word, 四码电报, the Chinese telegraph code, or be called the Chinese commercial code, a kind of system used to send telegraph with the Chinese character. As we can see, Chinese is a language composed of thousands of Chinese characters. On paper, actually we can just use a pen to freely write every character, even if that character is very complicated and almost no one uses character usually in life. But the time is advancing. After the telegraph was created, it is impossible to reject using the telegraph to do the communication things, and just continue using the old times letters. So when the telegraph entered China in the 19th century, the first thing was how to use the electric signal to express the thousands of Chinese characters. First of all, if we want to deeply study the Chinese telegraph code, we can begin the story from the Chinese word 四码电报. The first character is 四, which means 4. The next is 码, which means number, and the last part, 电 and 报. Both are one vocabulary, 电报, which means telegraph. So 四码电报 was translated directly, which means the 4 numbers telegraph, just like this name. This Chinese telegraph code is based on 4 numbers. In other words, we can use 4 numbers to replace those characters. And now let's come back to the old era. In 1871, China had the first telegraph wire brought by GN, the Great Northern Telegraph Company. And after that moment, the Qing government had to accept the truth. The new communication way era was really going on. More and more telegraph wires were built up, and the Qing government also built the Imperial Chinese Telegraph Administration, ITA, in 1881, and this institution also was mentioned before in our story of Chinese postal romanization. So after building those amazing wires up, the first thing is how to use them, especially the Chinese characters code list, because most European languages were composed of 26 Latin letters or 27, 29 letters, etc. Compared with the Chinese language, technically, it is easier to create the telegraph code list of European languages than the Chinese language. The difficult question also was noticed before building the first telegraph wire in China. But when you note this telegraph story video, I believe that you also will think this way of converting electrical signal into Chinese characters is very easy. Before 1870, actually there were many scholars who tried to make a Chinese telegraph code, but actually all of their projects may not be very smooth, until there was a Danish astronomer, Hans
Carl Frederik Christian Schellerup,
who answered this question. He used the Chinese character retrieval of the Kangxi Dictionary as his characters classification standard, and then he finished his first draft, but his draft only has 264 characters on 2 papers. Following this way, he used the numbers from 0001 to 9999 to correspond the characters. For example, the first character of the Kangxi Dictionary is 0001 and excludes the unusual characters. 0002 is the second character, 0003 is the third. After that, Hans continued to upgrade his first version draft, and the new draft had 5,454 characters. This new draft was set to Carl
Frederik Tietgen,
who was a Danish financier and industrialist. At the same time, he also was the creator of GN, the company that brought the first telegraph wire in China. At this time, Titgen saw that they needed to test this code list if it was reliable. But maybe it was because he has dedicated too much effort in the Chinese telegraph code. Finally, he lost his interest and passion from this project. Therefore, Titgen had to change another expert to complete the rest of work. And this man is
Septime-Auguste Viguier,
who was a French diplomat and also was a researcher of Chinese characters telegraph code. Even in 1870, he had published his Chinese telegraph code book. This way is like the algebraic notation in chess. So Edward Swanson,
Edouard Swanson,
who was the manager of the GN at that time, let Chinese businessmen and scholars compare the Hans code way and the VS code way. Finally, after discussing, the Hans way became the final way, and Edward requested Wei to continue to complete the codebook based on the Hans telegraph code. In May 1871, the codebook was published and at the same time went into service. This codebook also identified the first real Chinese telegraph code book in the history, and was named 电报书籍. And then, in the same year, Zhang Deyi, a Chinese diplomat and translator, improved it and revised some not perfect points and made it more preciseness. The new version codebook was named 电报新书, not only 电报书籍, but 电报新书, although a really good, both actually also had a shortcoming, which is the amount of characters not enough much. So in 1881, Zheng Guanying, who is Shanghai 电报局总办, the general manager of Shanghai Telegraph Administration, hosted the group to expand the amount of characters. And finally, the codebook included more 9,000 characters. This new codebook was named 四码电报新编 and also be called 中国电报新编. After revising many times, gradually the telegram service became more and more important for the whole society's people and even those government departments. In August 1908, in order to unite the telegraph standard in various different situations and eras, the codebook had another great improvement, and the new version book was called 明密码电报书. After many years, in the 1950s, in the Chinese language world, there were two new codebooks which were written, and both books have been used until now. Meanwhile, both codebooks included all of the characters which are used yearly. The mainland China published 标准电码本 in 1952. In Taiwan, in 1950, the book is 电码新编. In fact, when I searched the information and read the articles, I found a very surprising thing, which is that the telegraph actually does not disappear totally in the scientific language world. Despite in 2017, in Beijing, the rest of only one telegraph service window, and it was removed to the Beijing long-distance telephone building from Beijing Telegraph Building. So that means now it's in the 21st century. But the telegraph still exists, although it may be at a lonely place inside the building. And that's not only one case. In Hong Kong, although the telegram service may also almost leave out of the history stage, but if we see the Hong Kong ID card, we can find there are some numbers on the card, and that is a telegraph code. Similarly, when Chinese people apply for the DS-160 visa of the United States, people also need to write the Chinese telegraph code. I think that it may be a traditional way to input Chinese characters, which has been reserved all the time from the era without advanced computer technology. Now the telegraph code is more likely a kind of alternative or redundant system. So, how to use the codebook to send Chinese telegraph messages? To be honest, this is very easy and smart. Firstly, we can begin with the Hong Kong ID card example. There are three groups of numbers. First group is 2, 8, 6, 7, and the second is 3, 0, 5, 7, and the last group is 2, 5, 3, 2. When we confirm the number, the next step is to confirm the characters. In other words, it's to find the characters corresponding to the numbers by the codebook. In the old time, telegraph operators needed to find the character from thousands of characters in the codebook, but nowadays, it's far easier to find the characters than 100 years ago. Now we can use the Chinese telegraph code decoder machine, or just open the website and write the number, then the character will appear, just like a kind of Chinese input method. But because the telegraph code is really difficult to remember, so it's almost impossible to use the code as an input method. By the way, the Chinese language input method is another story as well. Okay, now let's come back to telegraph code. Now we can see every group number can correspond to characters. The up position is traditional Chinese, and the down is a simplified Chinese. If someone needs to input the character, they may choose one of both, and then inputting job finished. Turning the Chinese character into code is the same way. Write the characters on the website, and it can convert into the number code automatically. But if there is a character which is not included in the codebook, such as 静, it will be represented by 0000, or just keep empty. Overall, the key of 四码电报 for digital Chinese telegraph code is the phone numbers from 0001 to 9999. Every group of numbers express one character, then the bridge between characters and the telegraph code appears. Okay, this is this video. I hope you can like this brief history. Have a good day. See you next time.